While we waiting for more people to come in here, we're gonna chat a minute, y'all. I've been in a very firm energy because I know what moon this is and I know what this time period is. So y'all, eat your veggies. Okay? Stay celibate, y'all. Stay celibate, eat your veggies. Okay? Stay away from fake people and make sure you checking people's energy before you decide to believe that they are real. A lot of people are shape shifting and being fake right now. Okay? They being fake. A lot of people are switching over to being a nice person and all that because they just trying to lock something down for the fall and the winter. So just be careful who you trusting out here. So eat your veggies. Okay. This is my new way of eating healthy on the go. I'm making little snack packs like this. Now, if people aren't snacking healthy right now, they're going to find that they're blocked and they're stuck. Yeah. Okay. So don't be carving it up. You know, don't be carving it up. Um, Try to be mindful of your carb intake and your fat intake right now. You know, when we have a moon like we have right now, people are really tempted to eat a little extra fat or carb it up. Vegetable it up, y'all. Fruit is vegetable it up. Okay? There's a reason why my face is glowing. I haven't even moisturized it. I haven't even moisturized my face yet, y'all. It is glowing. There's a reason for that. Hey, drink your juice within the first 30 minutes woke. I know some of y'all say, I fast. Mm. fasting Fasting the first hour woke, it doesn't give you nowhere near the benefits of hydrating as soon as you wake up. So, and I don't mean water, I mean actual hydrating, which means juice and food that actually hydrates you, whether it's vegetable juice or regular fruit juice or just fruit. So, snack, y'all. Snack. Okay? We're going to wait till we get more people in here. We're going to sit and chat. I'm on a little break here, y'all. I've been on a cleaning spree. A cleaning spree. Just getting some stuff done around the house. I'm trying to get real organized. But y'all see how firm I've been in my last few videos. People doing all type of tricks. People doing cards on people right now. Watching people's energy. It's a lot of abuse of the tarot right now. People abusing the psychic resources right now. You know, when we get a moon like we have now, it could be a lot of devil energy. People being sneaky. And just to try to spy on somebody's money, trying to watch somebody's energy in secret. Those people don't even know why they watching somebody's energy. They're missing downloads. They missing money. People right now are reading on people that they think is favored. And then they going and pretending like they're them to trick people out their money on YouTube, on these apps. Stay out of the card addicted psychic community. Stay away from them, y'all. Stay away from them right now. Don't go over there. Don't be cross watching. Don't try. The ancestors are watching. The ancestors are like this right now. Super close, watching us like a hawk. Be careful. Some people, I just pulled a full few cards. It's still sneaky. It's still arrogant to pull other people's cards. I'm telling y'all, stay away. Stay away from it. Stay away from the card happy dealing psychic world. When you go to those communities, especially around this time, you're giving them permission to read on your money, to read on your connections. Don't answer no questions about yourself. Somebody asks you something right now and be like, none of your business. If anybody asks you anything on these videos online, say none of your business. You cannot trust, you can't just trust anybody right now. You can't trust people who are hidden behind their profile pics. You cannot trust them right now. Be careful who you trust. I'm dead serious. There is spell work being done on the Empress energy right now. And people are chasing other people's money. And people are trying to rob, spiritually rob other people of their spiritual inheritance. And being sneaky in these social groups doing it. If you're in any work groups right now, don't be quick to share your work. If you're going to go to any work groups over the next 7 days, be in the world but not of it. Get the lesson, but don't share your work. Okay? There's a lot of con artists that's going on right now. People are doing it in the social groups, on these social apps, in these little secret workshops. No, y'all. Keep your life business to yourself right now. And all your plans, leave them guessing. Leave everybody guessing. Somebody say, what's going on with you? Say, I'm living. That's it. Don't even tell your business. Telling y'all no lie. People are very sneaky. All right. People trying to track people. Being all sneaky. I don't even want to hear about the big psychic community right now. I'm making sure if it just come up in my news feed, delete. I'm talking about with all those card dealers. People are tempted to go real hard with those cards whenever karma's coming through. They nosy. People are nosy. And some of the people are people who got the same sun sign as you. They got the same sun sign, so they figure if they watch your cards, they'll know what to do. While they're trying to run up the bag on these apps, trying to pull your energy with the cards at the same time. Nope. This is my new snack, y'all. I don't want no potato chips no more. I'm good. Everybody know potato chips taste good, but y'all, I'm good. Eat your veggies. Hi, everybody. Y'all, I'm in that firm energy where it's like, like grandma energy where it's like, I'm not about the disrespect right now. Hopefully we'll start to get more people in here. We're going to have a big rush of people, most likely around 11:30 a.m. I wrote it on the board. I was online. I was in a live video on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. and there was a bunch of people in there. A bunch of people in the video. Eat your fruit and your vegetables. Have some soup. Grandma like her soup. If you got an old soul, have some soup or have some vegetables. Have some bone broth. Perfect time. I know some of y'all came to like, oh, I'm gonna stay because I want to watch her eat. There's people that like to watch people eat. Y'all, I heard singlehood. Here's a quote coming through, y'all. Let's see what this quote is. Chasing. Know that you're enough. Some of y'all got people trying to make you think you ain't enough. Always remember that the people who think you're enough, they're always watching too. Okay? Nowadays, people really think that they blocking somebody by staying silent and just watching them. Like, oh, I'm just silent and watching you. Yeah, and I'm gonna block your blessings by not participating. It's like, you know what? The people, there's still gonna be people that's gonna support me, so it doesn't matter what you do. I know some people don't like my attitude on this channel, but it always amazes me when people say I don't like your attitude. It's like, what about your attitude? Or you don't like me being authentic, that I'm a firm person, I'm a serious person. You don't like that? You don't like that? Like, for real. I find it so funny that when people say I don't like your attitude, but they don't say why. They don't say what you said. It's all about, I don't like how people put negative words attached to someone's energy that they may think they shouldn't have. So, a lot of people think that women of color, we have to hide our strength. We have to be silently strong by ourselves. We could be strong, but be strong alone, right? That's the unspoken rule. So when some of us show up strong in public, people say, I don't like your attitude. It's like, okay. I know when I'm covered and favored. I know what my scripture numbers are saying. Let your scripture numbers be the truth. If you're worried, let your gut fill in. Let the evidence of the work that you are doing. You know what you're thinking. Somebody could be strong, but that don't mean they thinking arrogant. It don't mean they're saying I'm better than everybody. But people love to call that, say somebody think they better all because they strong. It's wild. I look at those people as people that's weak. Because strong people don't turn me off. Serious people don't turn me off. I have a cousin that's very serious. A lot of people won't talk to her because she's very serious. It don't bother me. I learned that she is serious around strangers. But once she gets to know you, she's actually quite fun. Like I am. I know how fake and sneaky this society can be, especially towards minorities. So I'm not into smiling out here. I'm not into, oh, just let my hair down around random strangers. Y'all. I tried it many times. It always backfired on me. Many times I just came, nice to random strangers. It always backfired. They did not respect my boundaries. The next time I saw them, they said and did whatever they wanted to me. So, mm-mm. I feel like if I'm not doing the work that God signed me to do, um, then if that person better be my close friend, or I don't need to be, I don't need to have fun entertainment with them. I consider now anyone you have fun entertainment with, a lot of fun with your hair down and you unguarded, they better be like family. You know, that's just how sneaky and fake the world is getting. You can't even just let your hair down all the time with some people you call your friend. Hi, everybody. Eat your grapes, eat your vegetables. Mmm. Somebody gotta watch their fire energy. Some of the men, some of the men, and people who got fire in their rising sign. Be careful. Y'all could be getting out of control right now. All these people coming in. Let me connect with her energy and go do my cards. I stay having like 5 people come in, 5 people go out. It's like within a minute. I'll be like, I know they all witches. All witches. All that traffic in and out like that, witches. When you go to the men's videos, their live videos, traffic ain't like that. Pay attention one day, y'all. When you go to the older men's live videos, there be like a bunch of people in there, but it don't be a lot of people going in and out. Swear this world want to harvest black women's energy so bad it's ridiculous. And I'm going to stand on that, and I'm not apologizing for it at all. African Americans, women, our energy, people be literally determined to harvest. And was said it'd be some of our own race doing it. People want to use us as the template, but don't even want to acknowledge us. That's wild. People want to use us as the template for their success and law of attraction, but don't even want to acknowledge us, don't even want to be cool with us. I find it disgusting. And the fact that I know some other minority groups are doing it to black women. Yep. I said what I said. There are some other minority group people that's trying to harvest black women's energy. If people want to be sneaky and fake during this moon, they're going to go after who they think is not protected. Which means they're going to go after black women. Because I could go hit and rob and con and cheat and shapeshift into this black woman. Nobody will care. Well, okay. All right. People eventually always sense when someone's being fake. It's hard to hide consistent fakery. When you've been consistently fake so long, eventually the fakeness starts to actually just come through strong. The feeling of being fake. The slip-ups. The little veil that was hiding the fake in, it starts to thin out. Greedy people don't got no limit to their fakery. Greedy people set no limits to their fakery. They ain't never, their fire ain't never quenched. That's why they keep going harder and harder for somebody's energy. I usually don't even get on sit-in live videos when we have a moon like this. But you know why I do? Because I want all the witches to try me right now so they can get their karma. I want them to get burnt out. They're going to try to be me. They're going to go all hard. Because they think their cards is right. And they're going to be collapsing. By the end of November, they're going to collapse. My ancestors is going to lock up their channel, slow down their views, because it's hard to copy somebody without copying their personality. And when people copy people's personality, they lose their fans. They lose their own fan club, and then next you know, their business go under. These witches are trying to copy my sense of humor and everything. Remember, y'all, when I used to do readings, and I said game on in my one reading as my opening, that this witch that always tries to read on me, she gonna put in her video title after mine, game on. I said she read on me, and she's taking my video titles. I was like, this lady is out of her mind. I'm staying out all the churches. Nope. Mm-mm. I don't want nobody's demons jumping on me. I'm not going to no church in none of these communities, because half the people in the communities don't even like you. I'm not going to church with neighbors that don't even like me, so they can send their demon to me. No, It always amazes me how people go to a public church and they see people in there who don't like them, and just assume because they're in church they're gonna pray for them. No, people inside themselves be acting the same way in church, the way they act in the streets. They just don't let it show outside of themselves, but they still sit up in the church, you know, wicked inside, and then trying to trick God while being in church. No. When I used to go to church all the time, I wasn't having nowhere near as amount of the breakthroughs I have now. And that's just deep, y'all. That's deep. Because my energy was being harvested up in the church. That's what was happening. I remember when I would go to church back in the 90s, and all the older people would just hover around me. You would have thought I was like a pig on a roast or something, y'all. You would have thought I was a pig, a boar hog, or a deer roasting over the fire pit. The way all the older women would hover around me and stuff. Um, that last time at the church years ago, I said, "No, I ain't coming back. This is weird. It seemed like I'm being sucked on or something. I ain't coming back in here." And then all my breakthroughs, came through. A lot of us, let's eat our veggies. You can trick yourself. You can trick yourself to eat veggies. Just every time you watch a live video, eat some veggies. Every time you watch a YouTube video, eat a handful of veggies and fruit. Every time you sit in my videos, eat some vegetable and fruit. Every time you do a live video. Some of us has been so wasteful. Some of us have been so wasteful with our money and time that we need the gratitude back that everybody had in the 90s. Where was a lot of law of assumption back then. Everybody assumed they was going to get rich one day. And they had tremendous gratitude for their little 9-to-5 job. Nobody ever thought that 9-to-5 job would not be enough. And frankly, I think that if people just kept, a lot of people kept their 9-to-5 jobs from back then, the 90s, the Generation X, I think they would actually have a lot of higher paying jobs. Because I think that the employer would have saved a lot of money paying everybody what they paid us back in the 90s, and then the employer might raise the pay 20 years later. See what I'm saying? So, somebody said there's no way for anyone to live off $3,000 a month. Okay. Here's the problem with that is people want the benefits in which they can live like they're almost rich off 3,000 a month, because that's how people were living like back in the 1950s. They was able to live like they was almost rich just off the regular 9 to 5 job pay. But what a lot of people don't know is that in the 90s, people were living very humbly, very humbled. If you don't believe me, look at some of the old 90s, 80s movies and look how small their apartments look. And that was considered to be like upgrades in the movies. Yet offline, out of the movies, people were like living in really, really, like really, really small apartments, y'all. So things ain't really changed. We've been running in place in America. Things ain't really changed. It's the same as it was in the 90s and 80s on these jobs. It is, y'all. I can remember working job after job after job, and they weren't even offering health benefits. I can remember that. I can remember finally getting a job in 2005 that had health benefits. I can remember when my family member's employer canceled their health benefits in 1997. It started in 1997 where a lot of the employers were just like, I'm starting not to care about none of y'all. That's how the employers started to be. And then by 2013, Americans was like, this sucks. Working in America sucks. That's why nobody has the option now to not have a side business. Everybody got to have a side business now. Everybody got to have something else they're making money off of. And that's just the way it is. But here's the problem with that. People are going to get fed up with that. People are going to get fed up feeling like they're being forced to get married just to be able to eat. People are getting fed up with that. And eventually there's going to be some major protests out there, y'all. What's going to happen is the same thing that happened in the UK is going to happen in America. Y'all saw what happened in the UK about a year ago. That same thing going to happen in America. Okay? All over the pay. We got so many people being conned and scammed and all that, all because of this work environment, the workplace in America. So because of that, y'all, don't be telling nobody what you're doing. If you got some videos that's worth money, have those videos right now, y'all. If you got any videos that teach on the law of attraction, okay, if you got any videos that have to do with creative stuff, and that it's really abundant, y'all, have those videos. Y'all, let me tell you, we don't even need to wait on the robots. People are signing up to be robots. People are literally gladly being robots. You can't even get nobody to go out with you. You can't even get nobody to have fun with you. They just all robots. Like, everybody's just robots. Like, I'm watching people at the park. They can't even stop and speak. They can't stop and speak for a moment. It's robots. Even the older people who are pretending like they're doing Tai Chi, they're still in robot energy. They're still doing it. It's wild. People people are sitting around on Sunday planning to be a better robot on Monday. Okay? People are sitting around today saying, what can I do better for next week? How can I go harder and smarter on Monday? What can I do next week to get the bag? People won't even just do one thing today and rest. Seriously. The creator told me focus on one project, get it done, and make sure you get some rest. Rest is not thinking about what you're going to do this week. Okay? Rest is literally just rest. But people, I'm telling you, people are sitting around. A lot of people going to have burnout. Okay? A lot of people going to have burnout. They're going to be in the same energy next week of like, robot. And it's like this Capricorn moon is going to be like, nah, you can't. You got to be in an old folks energy right now. You got to be like somebody old right now. You can't be like. But people going to be in that energy because they're going to say, I'm nice and rested. I got a lot of rest. Y'all, look, we all been lied to about fitness. We need to talk about that. Because I didn't got the ultimate, I didn't got some serious wisdom today from my ancestors about that. Okay? We're going to wait till the numbers get up, and then I'm going to get into what the ancestors were telling me about eating and working out, y'all. What they told me, I was walking up the steps and they started talking. We got 16 people in the chat. 30 minutes into the video. 32 minutes into the video, we got 16 people in the chat. Y'all know that I like to keep track of the growth of my videos because I feel like this. Okay, if I'm going to do YouTube, I'm going to be practical too. I understand that YouTube is fun and you meet people from different places and, you feel like you're on TV, but we still have to be practical. 20 people in the chat. Okay, let's get into the next thing. Hi, 20 people. So, the ancestors were telling me that we ain't really supposed to be working out in the early morning hours. They have certain seasons for that. And certain plans for their village to be doing that. When I think of people physically working out, the ancestors be like, no. When I see that in my mind, okay, in the morning hours. So I know y'all think, oh, because it's Taurus in the morning, go to the gym and lift weights. Nope, y'all. Nope. I know some people when they get when they get to the 1 p.m. time of day, they be like, yeah, time to lift weights. You're supposed to be focusing on getting your own weight up. Okay? Yep. Creator told me to tell y'all to stay celibate. People gonna be using your energy to attract money. They're gonna use your downstairs to increase their law of attraction. No lie. With a Capricorn moon, that's old energy. It means celibacy. Fast on your genitals. The devil coming for your genitals. Fast on it. Okay. As I was saying, for sensitive people in here, I'll talk a little softer for the people who are sensitive. Yeah, because the lust spirit is going through the portals right now. Y'all, this is no lie. This is a adult conversation. I was going to the bathroom, and why did the lust spirit jump on me? The lust spirit jumped on me. I said, oh, this is disrespectful. I can't even go to the bathroom. A lust spirit followed me into the bathroom today. And I wasn't even getting in the shower. I was getting on the toilet. Y'all. I was like, what? I want to talk to y'all about playing with yourself. Because there's only two times that that's acceptable. We're going to talk about playing with yourself. There's only two times really that the creator's okay with that and won't block you. Okay? It's when your partner can't or they're sick and you don't want to do nothing behind their back. Okay? That's acceptable then. But still you can't go buck wild because you need plenty of energy for your partner because they're healing. The other time is when it's a health problem, major health problem. So you need the hormone that you would get that would help you with that health problem. And I'll talk about that in a whole nother video. Okay. But however you've been having a release, I'm trying to say, because I know there's kids in here, okay? Because Sundays, kids is at home. Adult conversation, okay? Cover your kids' ears. However you've been having the release less right now. See, even if you can't stop all the way, stop a little longer, stop a little bit more. That's still going to increase your law of attraction energy. So let's say you do stuff with your downstairs 4 times a week. When there's that Capricorn moon, be like 2 times this week. I'm good. Be like 2 times. Tell your partner. Say, karma's coming through. That I don't want that double energy. I do. Yeah, y'all less. The devil loves to get us all with lust. Y'all know every sin when it really wants to survive, it activates lust. That is so deep. Every single sin says, I know how to save myself if I can get you to lust for something that matches me. So, for example, the sin of gluttony, it'll make you lust for food, lust for the taste of fat. It'll make you lust for compassion. And when you lust for something, eventually, if you don't get it, then the low vibrational substitute will be drawn to you. This is why some people will eat at a buffet and can't stop eating at a buffet. They're really lusting for compassion. Now, I know y'all say, how's that lust? Because everything, believe it or not, that you're connecting with, it is still intimate. Okay? Your creative energy is intimate. Your free-flowing conversations that you have with the people you love when the lights is low or when y'all talking over dinner, that's intimate. So when you're starved of that, then you start to have lust for it. Okay? This is why some men lust for you ladies. They are starved of the validation of their ego and their manhood. And they're so starved of it that they think you will give them maximum energy through what they know about you. So they lust for you. That's like when you're feeling so lonely and you're so starved of attention and compassion, suddenly you want a big fat piece of cake. You're really trying to chase that hormone that you're starved of because of what you're not getting in your life. So even though when you're celibate, you still have to get what you're supposed to get through intimacy. So let's say you're like, yeah, I'm being celibate right now. You still need that hormone, okay? You still need what you get if you were sleeping with somebody. So you still need to find out how to get that. Like, how do I get that? Um, a lot of people, believe it or not, they tend to get it from reading. Like excitement, everything. When you read a book, you get all of the hormones, excitement, like endorphins. A good book, with a good novel, you get shock, fascination. Um, you're just instant, regular, natural gratitude for life. And so that's why some people, they'll start reading a whole lot of books when they don't have a partner. I know I do. When I don't have a partner and I'm not interested in a partner, I will go out. Next thing you know, I'm buying book after book after book after book. um, but yeah, you still gotta get. You still gotta get. Um, you still have to. You still have to get the love, the release. So I say, anybody in here that's celibate, consider doing watercolor art. You know, um, abstract art, watercolor or something of that nature. That's going to, help you emotionally. Because, when you're not celibate, you get an emotional release. But you still need it. You still need that emotional release. So find something that you can have fun all by yourself. If a lot of people don't realize that people who are very creative, and us writers, people who write really good and write a lot, are often not getting any. Very celibate people normally. Basically, being with somebody intimately is the grand finale of the day. It's never in the beginning or the middle. It's sort of like Hemingway was talking about. Like, it's like the encore to the day. Really, I say it could be the encore of the week. Really, if you get busy one day out of a week, you're doing better than a lot of people. Some people can't even go 6 days. You know, a lot of people don't gotta give it up. Just cut way back. People doing everything right now, doing too much. That devil energy got people like, maybe I shouldn't, planning to cheat, trying to get on these dating apps. People gonna end up meeting people on these dating apps. It's gonna backfire. You know, um, Serious, y'all. Be careful who you going on dates right now. Watch your money in your wallet when you're on a date. And that's the synchronicity. Some of y'all gonna be sleeping with the devil. Or because you're lonely, you can't sense, you so lonely that you can't sense who you're dealing with. I would rather not try to figure it out and then be like, I'm just gonna be by myself. I might as well not date, because too much devil energy rampant right now in this month. So I'm not gonna date. People need to look at how the energy's moving before they make any decisions. Like doing retrograde, Some of y'all gonna get in a fight on a date, walking out on people on the dates, fallouts. Hi everybody. Something something was going on last night. You know, um, I don't know what's coming through these portals, but mm-mm. Last night I was like, I'm gonna have to go get up because Woo! Hi, everybody. Eat your veggies, especially your grapes and your lettuce and your leafy vegetables. I heard show them better than telling them. That's what I heard this morning. I heard you could show them better than you can tell them. I said, "Ooh, who said that?" So I said, I'm gonna start showing in these videos. I'm not gonna just running down some list of y'all. So this is what the creator told me. Hi, wake up. This is what the creator told me, y'all, about dieting. Like eating your meals. It has to be like there's certain rules for each meal, okay? According to what you're allowed to do at that time. So what you're allowed to do at a certain time of day determines the food that you can eat and the amount. That's deep. That is deep, y'all. So I said, you know what? If it's tourists at this time of day, and I know the struggles of the tourists, then what shouldn't I eat? So, once I eliminate what I'm not supposed to do, then I can add what I'm supposed to do. People doing it backward. People saying, what am I supposed to do? No, take out what you're not supposed to first. Take that out. Okay. So, it was saying, no fatty foods, no fatty beef. Nothing that's toxic. So I said, okay. Somebody said that's me, dude. I was doing it backwards. I was like, yeah, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And it was wasting me money because there was a lot of things that I wasn't supposed to do, but I was still doing them. So I was wasting money and time. So when I did it in reverse, I said, what am I not supposed to do? That triggers people. Like when you go up to them and be like, you're not supposed to do that. But the funny thing is, that's actually what we need to do to ourselves. Like, as soon as we look in the mirror, what am I not supposed to do? Because we've been so heavily influenced by anybody and everybody all over the place on these apps. We literally got to go to the mirror in the morning and be like, what am I not supposed to do? I know that we're all told, go to the mirror, do affirmations, say that I'm covered and favored and gifted and worthy. But I think before that, we have to say, what am I not supposed to do? Because these not supposed to do stuff got us in a chokehold. Like, I guess I'll be the one to say it. The devil's list got a lot of us in a chokehold. Like vice grip, like an eagle grip, like a hawk grip. You know how when the hawks got you, they got you. I went to the zoo a few years ago on vacation. I might be going again next month. Yay! But my petting animal was a hawk. And she was telling us that their grip is so tight that unless they let you go, you're not going to get their grip off. Okay? You basically have to remove their leg just to get their grip off. So she was telling us this. So the hawk had grabbed on to the glove that she had that I had on. This hawk did not want to leave, y'all. I feel it still hurt my heart, that this hawk wanted to go home with me. This hawk wanted me to be his mom, y'all. The owner, the pet caregiver at the zoo brought the hawk out. His name was Ash. And she put him on a glove, put the glove on me. Then she put him on the glove, right? And I have the picture, y'all. I plan to print out a big picture of this. Me and Ash just staring at the camera like this. Like literally me in this bird hawk. And it was weird because we were like, oh, I'm taking a picture. Why did he turn right towards the cell phone? As soon as he heard we taking a picture. My family member was like, let me take a picture of you with the hawk. Why did Ash do this right to the camera? We was like, he turned right to the camera. And so it's so funny because me and him standing like this, staring at the camera. You would have thought this is my bird the way we're chilling, okay? So she went to get his claw off the glove, and he gripped it tighter. She was like, let go, Ash, let go of her arm. He would not let go. I was like, oh, he wants to come with me. She was like, he can't. I was like, oh, she had to put chicken in his mouth. Y'all, I said, oh, this is definitely my bird because somebody put chicken in my mouth. I might come with you. It's like, no, I'm not y'all, but I'll be tempted. You put some chicken in my mouth, you put some fried chicken in my mouth, I might be tempted to follow you. But that was funny because as soon as she put chicken in his mouth, he started to let me go. And she was like, come on, Ash, come on. She had to literally bait this bird with chicken. Just for him to go with her. Somebody said I would try to leave with him. Now I know y'all thinking, oh, the zoo got these animals as hostages. No, Ash was blind. So it's not like he could see me. He could see me clearly. He's almost completely blind. Yet he literally flew out the cage to come. Now, what if I told y'all my rising sign is Libra? Rolling the eyes as well. So I said, that's phenomenal that this hawk flew out the cage to come. Because she said this is how they do it at the zoo. They don't force the animals to come out. They just open the cage. And then if one come out, that means he wants to be a visitor. He wants a visitor. So she said, I just opened, because she told me there's no guarantee that a bird's going to come out. I said, well, what happens if a bird don't come out? She said, then we just refund your money. We just, you just get it, the money just gets sent right back to you. I said, oh, okay. I said, I hope one come out. So she said, I'm going to go open the cage, open it up, and see what happens. So she opened up the cage to see if any bird would come out, and Ash flew right on out. She said he flew right on out. And I was so shocked. I said, why is he here? In the nursing home, in the retirement home. Because the zoo, the Highland Park Zoo, the aviary. The Pittsburgh Aviary has a retirement home for animals. I don't know if y'all know that. Okay? It has a retirement home and a nursing home for animals. And those animals are allowed to have visitors. But they have to choose to see you. Okay? Because they're retired or they're old or they're disabled. So it's all about whether they feel like doing us. So, yeah. So every time I go on vacation, we do something different. Okay? My vacations are very educational. So like last year we went to the Viking museum exhibit they were having that week. And we learned about the Vikings and Christianity as well. How the Vikings did not want a white Christ in their community. They saw Christ as one of them. It's interesting. They believed in Christ, but they did not believe Christ looked the way he did in the Christian churches. Isn't that interesting? So what they did was when they put pictures of Christ on their wall, Christ always looked like a Viking. I found out they said if Christ existed but existed in their mirror image, that means he has to look like them and not white Europeans. Well, of course, Britain wasn't happy about that. Britain, so that led to the war being worse because Vikings was not adopting the whole concept of Christianity in the eyes of Britain. Y'all gotta see it. It's deep, y'all. All the beautiful things, antiques from the Vikings. We hear about these Vikings on TV and movies and stuff, but it's nice to like actually feel like you walked into, hundreds of years ago in a Vikings village. It was really nice, y'all. But we did that last year. The year before that, we went to the retirement community and the nursing home for animals. So we picked a bird and a penguin. The penguin came out. We were shocked. She was like, "Now we're gonna go." She said, "I'm gonna go to our disabled penguin community." Okay, meaning all of them have never been able to live in the wild. All of them, have are special needs in some way. So she opened the penguin thingy, and a penguin came out. So that was nice. We were sitting in the room with the penguin, and he was like walking around me, like where the lady was that I was. I was like, I got to see the penguin real close up. He wasn't even scared. It was like this penguin was like he just lived his whole life around people. Oh, thank you for the sticker. Oh, thank you. Somebody had put something on the chat earlier. Whoever donated to the video earlier, thank you. But yeah, y'all, that's a nice thing to take y'all kids to. If you're ever in Pennsylvania, take them to the aviary and pay for the petting. I know people say it's expensive, but you're feeding disabled animals. Look at it like you're donating to animals that are retired. They can't take care of themselves. So that's why we didn't mind paying the price. I think it was like $50 or something per animal. We looked at it like, they got some food. They get to, we donate it. I think that the way we're thinking now, okay, the way we're thinking now about money isn't healthy, you know? Yes, but you're also feeding the animals. These are retired animals. Okay, the aviary is not feeding these animals for free. We're feeding them. When we pay to see them, that's putting food on their table. She told us this. It goes towards donating because this is a volunteer. That's a that's that's you know these animals need to see doctors. Some of them need surgery. All of that. Yeah. So I forget what they said with the penguin. I think they said he didn't have did he didn't have like family support or something. That he's one that was, I guess he was an egg that was abandoned or whatever. So he, he's kind of like an outsider or something. They were talking about that, like, you know, um, we think animals can have mental health problems. They can. So, but it was funny as though it was like this penguin was happy to see everybody. You would have thought the penguin would have been like running away because it was like crowded in there. It was about 10 of us. He was just walking around in a circle. But funny thing about this penguin, he was looking at each and every one of us. It was like he was trying to remember this experience because he looked at me, then he turned to the next person. It was like he was saying, y'all get to see me. So I'm going to look at you so you see me. And then he just kept walking around us. He just kept walking around us. He never went for the door. He never backed away. I said, wow. I said, that's how you know these animals need attention. Like, they just can't wait to get a visitor. Is they gonna tell you? Yes, yep, yep. They if you ask them, they normally will tell you like, is there what's wrong with this animal or the history of this animal. Ash is blind. The hawk. I'm gonna post a picture so y'all can see me. I'm gonna be like I'm posing with a blind hawk. A blind hawk cannot survive in the wild. Cannot. That means he just running on all senses. Sense of smell. I felt bad. I felt bad for him because it's equivalent to like losing his wings. So I was like, I feel bad for this bird. But I was like, wow. But I found it weird. She said his sense of sound and smell is so strong because he's blind. So whenever one of us would talk, he would turn. He would turn his head, because he could hear where the voice is coming from. And when my family said, we're going to take a picture with Ash, because he knew his name, he turned his head to where the sound was coming from to face the camera. Oh, the Pittsburgh Aviary. See, they don't tell you that. They tell you that. They don't say it on the site. Like, they don't really even tell you in the brochure, like, we have disabled animals that need special needs. They don't tell you that. I guess it's not on the front. You got to go into, like, the petting part, like, pay to pet an animal. And they'll tell you why they're there. You know, sometimes the caregivers will just tell you why, right, from the history. You know, um, okay, what you say? They watching me. Okay, you don't like me and you don't know me. You don't like me and don't know me. They see me here. Somebody need to read this. Somebody need to read this. Here you go, Candy. You said, I can't believe you have 17 people watching paint wall behind you. What's paint wall? This is wood panel. They watching me. They watching me. They ain't watching the wall. Y'all. Yeah. So yeah, what did we do the year before? Oh, 3 years ago on vacation, we went to go see. Oh, and I took my daughter one year too. We went to go see Evolution. I think it was called Evolution, like how the animals evolved. So we was in this big exhibit, and they had all the walls, like a dome, and they put us in the sea, y'all. This is no lie. They had us in Jurassic Park. Y'all, I'll tell you no lie. My daughter was like, I was like, I didn't even know they was gonna do this. But she was a trooper about it. She was like, wow. I was like, I didn't even know that their kids is allowed to be in this Jurassic Park 3D 3D show that got us back during Jurassic time. I thought they were going to have pictures and teach us about it. But next thing you know, this big slideshow, y'all, everywhere we looked around us, it was like we was in Jurassic Park. It was that realistic. It was that realistic, y'all. That it was like kind of scaring me. I was like, oh, this is kind of scary. So, in the exhibit, this was at the Science Center. Okay, you have to pay for this. You don't get this because you go to the Science Center. You have to pay. So, I paid for a special exhibit show for me and my daughter. My family members did, and my daughter too, because I think it was a bunch of us. But and you just hear this voice over the speaker and say, it was like thousands of years ago, the turtles, and then you see this big turtle on the turtle, but the only thing is you're not seeing it on a projector. You're actually in the habitat. Everywhere you look, you're in the habitat. And you're like, whoo, this look real. You couldn't even see the floor. Like the whole habitat is all around you. Okay. So They show the turtle and we're like this. Woo! And it looks like it's coming towards us. And then it shows the turtle start to change. His body is changing, because it's evolving. And then it starts to go into the water. We're like, wow, we got to see how the turtle has evolved. But we see it in 3D, y'all. Everything's in three. Everything is in the highest 3D. Like, you don't even need 3D glasses. It's like, bam. It's better than HD. Whatever they did, better than HD 3D. But when they first showed, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to take my daughter out of here. This is way too real. But my daughter, she was like, "Oh, mom, I'm okay. I'm okay." She was like, "I'm okay, mom." I was like, "All right," because I don't want you screaming in here. And then it was I started seeing other kids around and stuff. I said, "Okay." And they even showed like the alligator, but it was like when they show you these creatures this big, so you're like, y'all. I came out and I was like, woo, woo, my nerves got bad. I said that blindsided me. I never I never forgot that experience. I went to I recommended it to a family member, right? And I was like, wait a minute, let me tell you before we go in there, before we go buy a ticket. I was like, the whole room is in like 3D HD. I said, you are actually in full habitat. They was like, all around me? I was like, yeah, it is. Like, I can't take that. They was like, I'm not going in. We're not getting tickets to that. I said, I already saw it. They was like, no, I can't take that. They was like, I thought it was just going to be a little slideshow or somebody was. I said, nah, they throwing you right into the habitat. They sending you right into Jurassic Park. I said, they need to start warning us old people. Had us old people up in there seeing these enormous alligators and stuff. I said, somebody could have had a heart attack. I said, oh, I'm so glad I could have had a heart attack because the way they had the alligator come, like the big Jurassic Park alligator come at you like that. Yeah. Woo. Just thinking about it, it'll make my heart race. They need to have a warning. I think they do though. There's a whole warning thing before you go in. It says if you have headaches, migraines, heart trouble, it has a whole list of things, and it says it's not recommended or whatever. I said I didn't see it last time. I said I don't know why I didn't see that sign last time and went up in there and had 3D alligators up in my face. Yeah, they had them moving too. It wasn't like it didn't even look fake, y'all. Have you ever seen The Matrix? This is how I looked it. Now you know that the people in the Matrix can't even tell they in the Matrix. It was no different than being in the Matrix. You know, it was virtual reality, I guess. Like virtual reality Matrix. So you can imagine. I know some of y'all are like, woo, I know that looked real. It was very real. I could have been sleeping there in the Matrix and not even knew. It was this virtual reality. Like, if y'all like virtual reality, y'all will like that. Where everything's coming at you with 3D and all that. Hi, everybody. I don't know what we were doing in September. We're going somewhere in September too. We always do something that we never did. That's kind of different. So I'm wondering what it's going to be. It's always a surprise. I just normally find out when we go, or that week we'll decide. But in September we're doing it again, doing something. I don't know what it's going to be. Somebody said Busch Gardens kind of, yeah. But can you imagine, like, you took your little kid to that? I had my daughter was little, y'all. My daughter was little. I was like, yeah, let's go learn about how the animals evolved. I didn't read that it was virtual reality matrix. Luckily my daughter was brilliant. She liked learning about things and she didn't spook easy. Otherwise I would have had to get a refund. Cause I was scared. I just knew she was gonna be like, "Oh, mom, scary," and then I was gonna have to take her out. I said, "You okay?" I said, This is kind of in your face. This is everywhere." She's like, "I'm fine." I was like, "Okay." Don't be saying you having nightmares. Don't be saying that Godzilla getting you tonight. Don't wake me up. Don't wake me up 2 a.m. in the morning talking about Godzilla coming for you. Don't do it. I don't know what we doing this September, but whatever it is, it's supposed to be big. We was going canoeing, y'all, but we found out they got alligators in the rivers here. I'm like, why is people throwing alligators in the rivers here? People been spotting alligators in the rivers here. People throwing their pet alligators in there. I said, now we can't even go canoe. See, we can't go canoeing. There's a couple people that was canoeing here and they said they saw alligator head. I said, nah, I said we ain't going no more. So we canceled that. We canceled that. And then we was gonna go to the lake like we used to, Keystone Lake. But then they said somebody got flesh eating bacteria in one of our lakes. I said, see, we can't even go to the lake now. We can't even go to the lake. We went to the lake and didn't know that this was a few like I don't know, about maybe 10 years ago at the most. And my family member came out. They had it. They said, I knew we shouldn't have got in the lake. I knew. I said it's actually a certified lake. It has swimming guards, swimming coaches, and everything. It has lifeguards. It has a rope and everything. They said, so they said, I knew it when somebody had flesh eating bacteria in our other lake. I shouldn't have got in no lake. Y'all, they came out the lake and they had parts of their skin looked like it was eaten. My family member. They went in the lake with me, with a bunch of other people in the lake, and they somehow they got it though. And it ate like pieces of their skin. Y'all. They was like, I'm never getting in the lake again, ever. I know that some lakes got, I said, that is so messed up that somehow you got it, the flesh eating back. I think that it gets you when your immune system is down. So obviously his immune system was weak at the time, so it got him. I ain't getting back in now. I'm out. And I'll never forget, I was scared to get in the lake that day. I had this really bad feeling, y'all. I told my daughter, I was like, no, I'm scared to get in. I'm scared. She was like, Mom, I thought you said you used to get in with my cousin. I said, yeah, but I said, oh, I'm feeling scared. I feel like something's in here. I feel scared. Yo, I got so scared that I had to be rescued by my daughter. Now, you know that's being afraid. Okay? You know, my daughter had learned how to swim. You know, was on a swim team, swimming classes. So she was way out there, okay? And I was standing only about 10 feet away from the shore like this. My daughter, she looking at me. She starts swimming in. I was like, daughter, scared. I'm scared. I'm getting a bad feeling. I'm getting a bad feeling. Getting a bad feeling. She said, hold on, Mom, I'm coming. So she swam in, and I was holding on to my daughter like this, and she was trying to get me out. Y'all, this was so embarrassing. Everybody at the lake saw this. Everybody at the lake saw a full-grown woman fearing for her life, only 10 feet away from the shore. I was literally 10 feet away from the shore like this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Don't you know, my family member came out the lake shortly after and was like, What's this on my arm? I was like, that looks like flesh-eating bacteria that they said is getting people in some of the lakes. They was like, exactly. This was at the end of the day when we was leaving the lake. He got flesh-eating bacteria out of the lake. He was on another part. He was on the other side swimming. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you actually got it. Y'all, I was so scared. Like, I hope I don't start getting it. I was like, we're gonna have to shower, y'all. We went and washed up with antibacterial soap. Never went again. Yep. Y'all, I knew it. I knew there was alligators in the lake over here, in the river. I knew it. I sensed the alligator when we was canoeing last time. I sensed another presence in around in the water, and it came on so strong, y'all, that I was like, we got to turn back. I was like, we got to turn back. I was like, no, 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 no. Let's not go no further. I feel bad. Prep. I feel something's in here, and my family member was like, there is nothing in here. I said, I just take me back. Just take me back. Y'all, it came on so strong. Then I go looking it up, and it's saying in the same river that we was canoeing in, other canoers saw an alligator. And they videotaped it too. His eyeballs coming about the water. I said, I knew it. I knew it. Hi, everybody. Yeah, my gut is strong, y'all. I could sense it. I could sense it. I could sense what's danger, even if I can't see it yet, I could sense when it's coming. I knew there was something in that river, and it wasn't far from us. We were swimming, we were canoeing towards it, and I could feel it. The more we canoed, the stronger the feeling got. I said, we're about to go near whatever this monster. I feel monster energy. And my family member finally said, okay, we're going back. And I was like, you know what? Why is people still canoeing in the Pennsylvania rivers? Still doing it. Knowing if y'all saw the things that come out of our rivers over here, people would not get in them. My family member pulled out a turtle that was so big you would never go in the Pennsylvania River again. That turtle was big as my desk. I'm talking about the turtle that they get pulled out of this river was about this big. It was super huge. Y'all, was like this big. No lie, y'all. The turtle was so big, and it was one of the ones that bite you. The snappers. It was so big that we thought he had a huge fish, and we were like, how you going to get it in? They were like, I'm going to have to go out and get it. So they went out into the river. They had their fishing stuff on, and they went all the way out. They was out into the river like about this high at some point, trying to reel it in. And I was like on land panicking at this point, y'all. I was like, get back here. The currents. No, get back. I was like, step back. I was trying to get them to get out the water. They was too far out. So they backed up, and they was like up to their waist. It was about up to their waist. I was still scared, y'all. I was like, the alligators is going to get you. They was like, no, I'm reeling this in. This is a big one. I was like, what if it's an alligator? They didn't care. They were like, I'm going to get it in. Whatever it is, I'm getting it in. They were shouting that to me. Y'all, I was just on the shore like this, like on the riverbank, like, I can't wait to see what this is. Don't you know, he reeled it in, and finally, and at some point, I guess it knew that the land was there, and that sucker came running. I said, oh, it was huge, like this big. And he cut the line, okay? He cut the line. He had the line like this. and it was big, and it was like on the land. And I was like, oh, no. He said, "I'm not. We're not taking this home." I said, "Yeah, because we use dissolvable hooks. The kind that don't stay in the mouth. So the hooks that we used are the kind that doesn't rot or decay and do not stay in the fish's mouth. It dissolves, and it just comes out on its own, and the animal do not get sick." So he said, I'm gonna cut it and let it go back in the water." I said, "Yeah, let's not take it. It's been living in this river a long time. It probably got babies and everything." I was like, let that turtle go back to the river. Because he was like, "We could take it to the City Park Zoo, big as this one is." I said, "No, let it go back. Yeah, you got to be careful fishing in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania woods is low key dangerous. People be swearing up and down, "Yeah, it's safe because it's beautiful." It is dangerous. That's and I'm telling you, no lie. Our woods are dangerous. Right when you say it ain't dangerous, then you get blindsided. Okay. We have wild cats, and somebody was cleaning their car out in their garage. They live near the woods, and they was attacked by a wild cat. And they had to fight the cat, and they fought the cat. They had to fight this cat with his bare hands. It wasn't a domestic cat. And I said, "See what I'm saying? People be swearing up and down these woods is safe. The way people be walking." I told y'all a beer, a black beer went walking down our street. This street right here. It cut through this path and went walking down the street. A straight up black beer. A male black beer. But people swear, "Oh, it's safe." Okay. I got out my car and I saw beer paws. That's what I saw. I got out my car coming from karaoke and I saw this. You know how a beer walk? And it was beer legs and it was beer paws. And I didn't believe it at first. I said, "Is that what I think I'm seeing at the end of the trail?" And I said, "Oh, that is a damn beer." Y'all, I didn't even go to my door. I turned around, went to my car, went right back inside my car. I said, I said, and then I calmed myself down because I could see how it was getting bigger and bigger off the ground. Once I saw it was like real chunky and big, I was like, "That's a beer." I went to my car. I did a whole U-turn like this, sat in my car until, I don't know, about 15, 20 minutes. I said, "I'm going to wait until it's all the way gone. Then I'm going to run for it." And I ran for my door. Okay? People don't know that when bears walk, their paws be like this. That's how you know them in the dark from cats. Okay? They flat. Their bear paws, they flat when they walk like that. That's how I knew. I was like, "That's a damn beer." And I said, "Please don't be a beer." I said, "If I look up from the ground, if I look up from the legs and it's a beer, I'm running to my car." And when I looked up and I saw above the paws that was flapping, I saw a huge beer body. I said, right to my car. And then, don't you know, somebody caught it on tape. My neighbor on the street behind us has cameras, and they turned the camera into the news and said, "Beer caught on tape," and you can literally see it. You can see what I saw. And then they showed the beer walking at the playground. I said, "The beer is literally at the playground. This is so disrespectful." I said, "People stay acting like Pennsylvania woods is safe." And then Pennsylvania woods have really unstable um, hillsides. So, like, let's say you're walking, you're like, "Yeah, in the woods." A lot of our grounds be collapsing, y'all. Straight up collapsing. And then they got signs that say, watch out for falling rocks. I'm like, this is so ignorant. We're walking so a rock can just hit us in the head. This is ignorant. They need to do something about our land. Our land is so broken up. This is broken land here. You know, you got to worry about big rocks tumbling down on your head when you're walking up the paths. That's toxic, y'all. I was driving yesterday and I said, why is it saying slow down when I'm not even driving over the speed limit? But it's saying in this one section here is weird, and it's one little part of the road, and it had a sign that said, watch out for falling rocks. So it wants you to drive slow so you can be able to dodge rocks. I'm like, no, that's toxic. Just do something about them rocks that's falling off the hill, this falling from the hillside, like straight up, before you get sued. Before somebody sued Pennsylvania. They want you to duck and dodge, drive your car all around the falling rocks. I'm like, no. And then snakes. My niece was in the lake when we was on vacation, and a snake was coming after her. No lie, y'all. I got jumped by snakes. I got jumped by 4 snakes, screaming for my life. I was doing the Native American dance, jumping around. The snakes was trying to bite me. I was jumping all around. And my friend's neighbor came out their house, heard me screaming. I was like, help, help, screaming for my life. And my friend's neighbor came out and was like, what's wrong? I was like, snakes, snakes. I was screaming snakes, y'all. Dude come running over with a big stick in his hand. He first he walked away, and I guess he went to go get a stick. And he came running with the stick, y'all. I was like, help! Snakes! Snakes! And he came over with this stick, and was like, he thought it was going to be one snake. I guess he thought I was exaggerating. When he came over, they started snapping at him, right? He's like, oh, snap, right? He said, oh, snap. And I'm still doing this. He took the stick and was like, smacking, trying to smack at y'all. It was crazy. Y'all, God forgive me, but I ain't even gonna lie. I got away, and he was still fighting. He was still fighting the snakes, y'all. I was like, I feel bad. He probably got bit by one of them snakes trying to save me. I said, this dude literally risked his life with these snakes. So I don't have to get bit. And we have poisonous snakes, y'all. We have dangerous snakes here. We have the copperhead. I saw a copperhead laying in the street a couple months ago. It was a big copperhead snake. My daughter had one of those big anaconda yellow snakes come up on her in her grandmother's yard. My daughter was playing in the yard. She's like, snake! She screamed, snake, grandpa, snake! And I said, what did she say? And he said, I said, did she say snake? And he said, let me go see. And he ran out there, right? I said, what's wrong? He said, no, it's okay. It's okay. Just stay in there. He said, he finally told me, he said it was a big yellow snake in his yard, and it was near. Okay? Because their yard, the way their yard is, like, connect right up to the porch. So he said he had to hurry up and get a stick and they try to fling the snake out of his yard, and then he had to call the health department, you know, the department for the community to come and get this enormous snake. I said, this is dangerous. That could have choked somebody's kid. I said, this is ridiculous. He said, I knew you'd be panicking. He said, so I said, because, woo. I walked up on a copperhead snake a couple months ago. It was, I thought it was like a rope or something at first, but then I saw eyeballs, you know, snake eyes. I said, oh, that's a copperhead. I said, woo! I ran back up on the sidewalk. It was like, and his head turned, and I saw snake eyes, y'all, a snake face. I took off running. I was like, I will not be getting bit by a copperhead, y'all. There was my one family member with the pump gas here, and I was waiting in the car, and I didn't know what happened. They put their hand on a brown recluse spider. They said there's like, oh, I said you lucky, cause they're poisonous. He said I could have got bit by that damn thing. Yep. Y'all, I can't. I was so blindsided by these snakes. Okay, y'all don't know what it is, but snakes are attracted to me. I wish these snakes would leave me alone. Like I was at my job indoors, and I went walking to the kitchen. And what did I walk up on? A snake. At first, I didn't want to believe it. I said, "Oh, there's a green rope on the ground, right?" That's what I'm thinking. But then it started moving. I said, "Snake, snake!" I said, "Oh!" I ran out. I said, "Somebody get this snake in here." Y'all, don't you know the nurses in the nurses station? She came in and grabbed the snake. She grabbed it by his head real quick so it don't bite her. And then she grabbed the tail and she ran that snake out, y'all. She did not want to be bit by the snake. She ran that snake out the door. I buzzed the door. She went out, y'all. She threw that snake. I said, I literally walked up on that snake. I was on my way to the kitchen, and there it was coming to me. Now, y'all, I be so scared, like snakes. When I go out, I think I was bit by a snake last year because I felt something go, like fangs go in. I felt fangs go in my leg. That's what I felt. I felt fangs. And whatever it was, I grabbed it. I could feel like a head or something. And I threw it. Okay. I didn't even want to see what it was. I did not want to see what bit me. I grabbed it and threw it like this. And next thing you know, my leg swelled up and it was black and blue. And you could see like where I got bit. I had to go to urgent care. They were like, I said, maybe it was a bee. They were like, something else. I guess they want to say. They were like, we don't think it was a bee. Is this something else? I said, snake. I said, go ahead and say it. Snake. This is snake bite. And my leg has never felt the same since. It's like so tender in that spot where I was bit. Y'all, they had to give me antibiotics. They said we have to put you on antibiotics because whatever its venom was in my leg, it was like swollen and black and blue. Its venom was actually in my leg, y'all. My aunt was hanging outside, and somehow a poisonous spider, I guess, got on her clothes or something, and she brought it into the house by accident. And she said she went to sleep, and the spider, it was a poisonous spider, it bit her, but one of its eggs got into one of the wounds while she was asleep. And she woke up with literally a spider egg underneath her skin, in her skin. And she had spider poison in her skin. I was like, I can't believe that happened to you, Auntie. She was like, I didn't have spiders in my home or nothing like that. She said it came on. Somehow I brought it in. I was like, ugh. So I don't know why people always think Pennsylvania is the place to be. It's not. It's very congested too. If you like to live somewhere congested, move to Pennsylvania. You're constantly sitting in traffic. It's just endless traffic everywhere you go. Just traffic because it's always under construction. They're always fixing something. There's accidents, always car accidents because people are always speeding. It's just it's very narcissistic here in Pennsylvania. People don't have no respect on the roads. They want to fight you if you follow the rules. If you follow the rules here, you can't make it. You follow rules here. You gotta be like in Pennsylvania. You gotta be fake. You gotta be a rule breaker. You gotta be butt kisser. It's toxic. It's a beautiful. It's like a Monet. You know, the Pennsylvania is like a Monet. You know, like the one lady said on Clueless. It's beautiful from afar, but you don't want to be in it. Okay, you don't want to be in it. It's beautiful from afar. You say, "Ooh, from afar, beautiful churches, landscape, all this grass." That's what you say. You say, "Look at the limelight. Oh, life of the party, yay!" As soon as you get in it, you be like, "It is so toxic." And I'm not just saying this, like people be literally out here saying it out loud. Like, I wish I never came to Pennsylvania. It's toxic. People be like really ranting about it, y'all. You're spending more money on gas here. Okay, if you wanna have to buy a whole nother meal on gas, then move here. Like, there's no point in even going to go get takeout because you're spending $15 on gas to go get takeout. That's what you. That's what you spending. You're spending a lot. I don't know why in Pennsylvania when there's a car accident they act like everything got to come to a standstill. They won't even let you go around it. Like they just have you like. I'd be like, why ain't they letting us go around this? And then they put a cop there to make sure you don't go around. So you're like, then our flaggers are so lazy. They sit there on their cell phones. They sit there on their cell phones. And it's like, can you set up the cones already? Like, can you start saying some of us could go? Like I sat 25 minutes at a flagger the other day. I was like, you got to be kidding me. The only road, the only road that lead to where I need to go. I sat 25 minutes at a flagger for just a truck to move some dirt across the road. Like, there wasn't even no car accident. Okay? This little truck was moving some dirt across the road and it made us sit for like 25 minutes. I was like, really? This traffic is backed up all the way down the hill around to the park, and you gonna have us sit here. You still gonna keep us sitting here for this little dirt truck. Y'all, I was done. I turned my car off. They had us sitting there so long, people turned their car off. I really thought I was gonna see a I really thought I was going to see a 3-car accident. I was like, oh, somebody must have died in this car accident. I said, it must be like 4-car pileup or something. We've been sitting here 25 minutes. And then as soon as you do go up, you see nothing happen. It was just a little truck moving dirt. I said, they making up jobs. That's another thing in Pennsylvania. All these made up jobs, unnecessary jobs here. It's crazy, y'all. Our Walmarts, our Walmarts got people just staring at you. They don't even ask you, do you need help? Did you find anything? They just stare at you. And then what get me is when you ask somebody in our Walmart for help, they say, I don't work in that aisle. I be like, but y'all understaffed though. Y'all understaffed. You're the only person on the floor. And you're saying that's not your aisle. Make it make sense. Like I will go up to the meat people that's packing meat, you know, and I'll be like, excuse me, can you tell me where y'all moved the spaghetti sauce? I pack meat. I'm like, but y'all don't got no floor people though. And then I'll be like, well, who to go to? Um, I don't know. I don't know who to tell you to go to. I'm like, I'm supposed to go to you. You on the floor. You on the floor with the little Walmart thing in your hand. You can literally take that Walmart thing and find out where y'all moved the soup at. Like, what are you here for? Just y'all, it's Pennsylvania. Oh my goodness, the whole. I don't care what nobody say. The whole Pennsylvania is ghetto paradise. That's what it is. It's ghetto paradise. I don't care how nice the neighborhoods look. Once you go to those neighborhoods, you'll find out that it's like cleaned up crackheads, it's rich crackheads living near rich drug addicts. You're like, I thought this was a nice neighborhood. All these different people on drugs, but sitting up there driving Audis. And what the heck? And they toxic and disrespectful. Yep. Yep. Oh, it is. Oh, they are getting so disrespectful here with this food, y'all. In, I just know in Pennsylvania, you pay. I know some of y'all can't believe this. For about 40 pieces of chips, you can pay $40. They actually selling potato chips for $40 here. I couldn't believe it. This bag of chips I bought, I looked up the chips on to see how much they cost at Walmart and Amazon. It was $20 and up. I said, "Wow, they wow for this small bag of chips." Nah, I'm good. I was like, they done lost their mind, and this is what they're going on. I've been around 30 years. That's how it is in Pennsylvania. You know, they price things in Pennsylvania. Things are priced out the highest amount based upon how long the company's been around. That's how much these retailers want money. They're that greedy here. That if you be like, why is this $30 for like 20 potato chips? They'll be like, oh, because that company's been around for 30 years. And it's like, I don't care. That means they don't need my money then. If they've been around for 30 years, they're rich. They didn't got rich off these potato chips. So why is it this high? Y'all, like, they don't want to hear it. And if you want to deal with the cops 24/7, move here. If you like the police, come here. Like that, it's police, 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 police. It's constant police in here. It's super annoying. Very annoying. Police following you everywhere, watching you, hiding in cuts and corners and stuff, and running everybody's plates at the park for no reason. You sitting in your car at the park. Cars is parked. They will run. You can see the cop going like this, looking at all the plates, going like this. Like, wow, dang. Everybody's plates getting ran at the playground. And I know y'all saying at night. No, this is during the day, in the morning hours, during the day. They running people's plates. Y'all, it's crazy. I got an illegal school bus ticket. The school bus was literally parked, fully parked across from me, and the lights was out. So obviously the school bus owner was doing something they shouldn't have been doing on the job. Okay, he was still on the clock, but he was maybe, doing a booty call or screwing around with somebody in the school bus. So he had the camera still on. And so when I went by, it caught my plate. And I'm like, but the school bus was parked and it wasn't even, there was no lights on. There was not even a stop sign out. I said, how is that possible? I said, nah. I said, what he did was he had the camera still on. He pressed the button so it looked like he's still doing his job, but yet he down in the seat somewhere screwing with somebody or he's in somebody's crib. Y'all, I said, they using the school bus now to do, to hoe. Using the school bus out. That's the only reason why that school bus would be parked, but still be like it's still operating as if somebody was doing something they shouldn't have been doing. You know, like that movie with Denzel Washington, you know, doing something illegal where he said, King Kong got nothing on me. You know, when he said that, when Denzel Washington said that. And there's a lot of people selling drugs here, but and you know it's supposed to be normalized. You're supposed to be happy for them. You meet people here and they're like, "Yeah, I sell drugs sometimes. Don't judge me." And you be like, "Don't judge you. You're selling drugs on these streets." It's like, but they driving up in really expensive cars, and you're looking at them like I'm working my butt off, and you selling drugs to get it, and you think I'm supposed to be like happy for you? Y'all, this one person I know, they didn't got married and everything. I said, ooh, their wife married a drug dealer on purpose. Their baby mama, they had a baby, and he was fooling around on her before he got married because some girl was arguing with him. I seen him arguing. I said, so he screwed around on her, had a baby, was running around in these streets, and she still married him while he's still selling drugs. This is a black couple. I'm like, that's normal here, though. That's normal. That's normal. I did hear this story over and over and over and over again. Yep. And now with gas prices so high, it's ridiculous. I put enough money that I remember filling up a half a tank. I didn't even get half a tank. My needle did not move. I think I put $20 in my tank, and my needle did not move. I put 8 that morning, and then a couple hours later I put it. I kept putting it in, and I was like, this needle's not moving. Nope, y'all, scam. I wonder why people don't realize that America is a scam. It's a scam. The whole thing's a scam, not just the American dream. America does not care about the middle class now. The American government don't care about no middle class. It don't even want middle class. It just wants filthy rich or really poor. It's America is turning all, especially all the northern states are turning into factories and factory place now. It's treating people like they just like robots in factories now. I don't. If it first of all, if anybody out here, there ain't nobody gonna tell me that they're rich unless they got money to burn. Like, because in today's world in America, no. Oh, I make $200,000 a year. You're poor. You're poor according to America, the American government. They don't even care. They don't even consider that rich anymore. The American government does not consider that rich. They consider rich is like 500,000 and up now. Like that's whatever's almost seem unreachable. You know, making $500,000 a year is really really difficult, even for lawyers and engineers. So if you can make that in America, then you're considered rich. If you're making $500,000 a year and up, you're considered rich. But not, you're considered like semi-rich. But if you're making like 800,000 and up, you're considered rich in America. Because it's so impossible to do, you know, with America. As a matter of fact, I think the only way to even live rich in America, and some of y'all ain't gonna agree with me, one main thing: buy a condo, buy an apartment. I know, don't buy no house, y'all. Don't buy no house. That's the biggest mistake anybody could do in America. Buy a house on wheels, or buy a house on wheels, or buy a condo, or an apartment. Because if you're responsible for everything else, the American government is going to get you. It's going to get you on main breaks. It's going to tag you on stuff. You can get forced out of your house if things go wrong with the piping or the electricity. You can literally get forced out of your house even though you own the house. But when you buy an apartment, you're not responsible for those things. See? When you buy a condo in a building with other condos, or apartment with other apartments, you're not responsible for that. So when those things go down, it's the city's responsibility. Yep. It started back in 2015. It started back then. People losing their jobs left and right. There was a lot of purging going on. Actually, it was started in 2013, and and then it just started going downhill, downhill, downhill. Now they only want people to work jobs they don't want to work. These employers want you to do jobs that their managers don't want to do, or the CEO don't want to do. That's the only reason why they're hiring people now. Unless it's unless you're very young. A way that the way America the way America is thirsty for getting as much energy out of you is really disturbing. This is why, like, you have no choice to be celibate in America. It's like constant energy leeching, harvesting. Your energy's harvested at the job. It's harvested in relationships. It's like toxic. Like, can I get a break from my energy being harvested? I even feel like, even if you say you're an American on these apps, your energy's harvested. Like, I just noticed it. Like, if you just seem American on these apps, it's like almost like the algorithm starts cracking a whip on you suddenly. See, this is the problem with American giving out that type of vibe. Like, it's the home of the milk and home, milk and honey. Now we see. Now we see the problem. Um, Now this algorithm feels like we all can be worked to death, y'all. The way this money is acting in America. What is the point even starting a new relationship? What is the point? I mean, what for? I see, like, relationship is, are we going to do business together? So what is the point? If we ain't doing business together, it's useless. It's a waste of my energy. I don't have energy to waste, not with this economy. It's a shame that so many of us now got to be like, I need to save a lot of my energy to get the bag, or else I just can't entertain people. I got to cut back. You know, um, is it just me, or is it things that used to be fun is starting to seem demonic? I just noticed that, like, the vibration that I get from TV is starting to feel very passive aggressive and manipulative. The energy of TV feels manipulative now. I don't even got to know what the movie's about. I don't even got to watch a movie. I don't even got to watch a series. I can sense it in the frequency. It's like, ooh, like, I feel trickery and deception. Like, when you just get that feeling. Have you ever got that feeling about somebody, like, this person feels like they're up to something? I feel that now when I turn the TV on. And I'm like, like, nah. You know, People are being blindsided by these series. These series is making you think that is PG-13 or that is like classy, and then it suddenly turns trashy. Tell me why Hunter Wives suddenly turned extremely grown-uppy. Like, how did it go from the first few episodes to suddenly constant women playing with each other, like every other episode, every other, like every episode, every 2 episodes? And it's not about it being women. It's about that nowhere in that movie title did it say that you was going to be overdosing on intimate stuff. Okay, it gave the feeling of like thriller, mystery, but it turned into it turned into something foul. I was like, nah, mm-mm. And every time, and if you say this, people say, oh, would you say that about anything that if it wasn't women? Yes. I'm tired of all these movies blindsiding us with nakedness and grown up stuff out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. It's like the only movie safe to watch now is Disney. That's like, okay, safe. If I go there, I don't have to worry about people playing with each other. It's peaceful. I shouldn't have to be forced to watch Disney every day. See? It's or I have to watch action films. But now they're trying to find a way to squeeze it in action films. It's like, no. That's why I started watching like action masculine films, like Mortal Kombat. It's like I don't have to worry about no raw dog type of stuff. Peaceful. Here's my thing about America. If it doesn't want if it doesn't want to give us what we at least should have, but why can't it leave our energy alone then? Why do we gotta be disrespected in movie after movie, film after film, article after article? Let me tell y'all, I didn't got tired. I'm back to reading magazines. I'm reading magazines to get my mind a break, get my eyeballs a break. I can't take it no more. I can't even watch the news. You can't even watch the news. It's like, wow, like, phew. Yeah, we have the cape, we have the antenna. But all these movies and series, they are turning, it's always like, take this dose of nudity. I'm tired of seeing nudity. I'm not the only one complaining about this. We have stopped watching movies and it's like, nah, I'm good. We don't even watch that more. That's it. That's it. You know, some people are very spiritual. They don't want to see random butt and random breast and, like Final Destination 2. Did we really have to see Destination 3? Final Destination 3 literally showed 2 high school kids with their breast out. I'm like, was that necessary? Because the actors in there is in high school. High school. So tell me, why did they normalize showing these 2 high school girls with their breast out in a tanning room? Why did we even need to see that? They could have literally showed them from the head up saying, I'm going in a tanning bed, and they could have had them at a side angle like this. Okay. It did not need, like, that is, like, and then here's what get me. We talk about the Epstein files, we talk about all that, but what about the fact that TV is operating that way? Like, don't y'all think that's kind of like creepy? That they would put something like that in Final Destination movie 3? No one had to see naked kids in that movie. That movie. Like, that was totally unnecessary. It's supposed to be a scary movie, a creepy thriller, frightening. We did not need to see naked people. You try to watch a scary movie and it's still forced on you. And all these commercials, food, food all the time. Oh, don't you want the new McDonald's burger? Chick-fil-A is having a sale. It's like it's why are we being trying to be tricked into gluttony? And if we're not showing that, then we're showing this new furniture's on sale. There's a mega sale going on at Target in the clothing department. Look at the clothes. I'm like, America, why are you doing this when you don't even want us to have no money from the job? You want us to spend money we don't have? Oh, excuse me, y'all. It's ridiculous. So tired. I'm tired of all the commercials. I'm sick and tired of the ads. I'm ready to turn the ads off on this channel. What is the point? Like, what is the point even making money on these apps? It's literally a waste of your time. I know if you're going to do these apps, you have to do it because it's fun and you just care about people. Otherwise, it's a waste. It takes more than what it gives. All these apps take more from you, way more than what they give you. But a lot of people on these apps is acting like it don't. These apps don't. They take way more. 3 hours of editing time, and then hour doing your video, uploading, wording your video. No, it's taking way more. For what? 15,000 views. And then, well, okay, you did all that for $50. That's the same amount of time you would put in on a job for $50. At least you'd be doing the same thing. And when all this editing, uploading, all this different stuff, you wouldn't be doing all that. And then the people that do get 200,000 views, y'all don't even notice that they're not getting it on a daily basis. If somebody gets 200,000 views twice a month, okay, they're actually whacking in $200 a video. They're getting $400 a month. Because it's like $1 per 1,000 views on YouTube. I can prove it. It's about $1, if you're lucky, $3 per 1,000 views. Okay? So, even if we round it up like $500 per video, 2 videos a month, you made $1,000 a month. You made $1,000. That's, that's less than what you're making at the 9-to-5 job. I'm seeing people put up videos every 6 days. So 4 videos a month. They're making $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And then there's people like Kelly Stelz, like, oh, I made $45,000 in 9 months. And so you made $25,000 plus some tips. Soon as you're not new anymore, it's going to go down to under $20,000, and that's what happened to her. Aaron Doughty was rocking in. Aaron Doughty was bringing in 100,000 views on up when he first started. Now he's making only 15,000 views to 20,000 views per video. So is Trend at the most. At the most. Uploading videos. So they ain't making no money either. You said doctors and lawyers are making too much money. Actors are making way too much money. Way too much money. 50 million to act in a movie? No. You know who are the biggest underpaid people? Us writers. Writers are very underpaid. People want to read our books over and over again. They want to use our lessons to teach, right? They want to use our literature for inspiration and ideas. They want to use our literature to make movies, to plan their life, to entertain somebody. They want to use our literature to relax. People use literature for so many different reasons, but it's like, oh, we want you to starve. You know, people don't see the hard work that goes in when we're writing this, when we writing our literature. People don't see it, but it's like, nah. But these actors, horrible acting, horrible cheesy acting, and making $20 million a movie. Tom Cruise, his acting sucks most of the time. It sucked in War of the Worlds. Sucked. Okay? You could tell he was acting. Okay? You could tell he was acting. Phew. And then he's 50 million. He's one of the highest paid actors per movie, and he's doing that cheesy acting. Really, there's only two movies I saw Brad Pitt act in where it seemed like he wasn't acting. And that was the Trojan Horse movie. Okay, he was acting really good. Yeah, he acted his butt off in that. No fake acting. And um the train movie. The train movie he's in where he's a funny Juru type of dude. He said he didn't think that everybody would like him in that movie. So you never know what you're good at. He said he never did a comedy, especially not a comedy Juru type of dude. But he got like excellent reviews on that. I think he acted his butt off in that train movie. Um, as that as that you know shooter dude on the train. But my point is, yes, do y'all know how much hard work goes in to write good literature? Sometimes you can sit on one piece for 3 months, thinking it over and reimagining it, thinking of different ways to go about it, different perspective. You're leaving the work, returning, leaving, returning it. It's like you're doing a sculpture. Doing Writing literature is no different than if you was like sculpturing something. Yet they sell sculpture statues for thousands of dollars. These people getting rich off these statues, but writers are getting peanuts. Yet we're using the same similar process. We use a similar process as painters do. These painters are painting people's houses with flowers and stuff, and they're racking up thousands of dollars. But writers, no. People act like anybody could write our stuff, but yet no one else is writing it. So if it's like if anybody could do it, why ain't anyone could do it? That's what's happening. People are reading literature and saying anybody could write this, but it's like nope. That's why ain't nobody wrote it but them. Nope. Y'all, the way we take literature for granted now is actually getting scary. It's scary, y'all. It's so scary. It's just hard for people to hide in literature. Literature is actually pretty, uh, it's pretty like there. It's there. But the acting, somebody could be fake. You see what I'm saying? You can't really fake it. You can't really fake it in literature. People have tried and failed. People have tried. Oh, that's deep fake. That's deep fake. People thought, oh, I could fake people with this literature. Ruby Carr tried that. You see how people started returning her book, and people are calling her work deep fake because it is. you know. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Joyce. I've been sticking to the satin pillows and the satin bonnets, y'all. But yeah, you cannot fake. I don't care what nobody say. Great literature is not subjective. It's not subjective, y'all. Literature is not subjective. It's not. It's not, y'all. Nobody in their right, nobody in their right mind is gonna say when something is really symbolic, it's good. Period. It's just wow. People love to say such literature is subjective so they can have permission to write badly. Poor work. All my great literature is sitting up on Amazon, and the black community don't even care. I've had more white people buy my books than black folks. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. I didn't try to get African Americans to buy my books. They don't want to. They're not interested in reading. And please don't get offended by me saying that. We all know that there's a problem with reading in the African American community. It's not right that we seeing each other put out this literature and we ain't buying it. That's real sad, y'all. You said my poetry books, miss. My books, my literature is is let me get one of my books. I should get one of my books over there. But my literature is the kind of literature where you'll be like, how does she think of that? You know? I make people say, wow, how did you think of that? I like to stay humble, but I personally know I was chosen to be one of the greatest writers of this time. I know that. Because I often see the quote, some people are meant for greatness and not fame. And greatness is always bigger than fame. I see that quote too many times, so greatness means legendary legacy. Fame can be fleeting. And when the creator keeps showing you that quote, it means that something you're chosen to do is supposed to be, is supposed to, yeah. This because something is happening with the books now, y'all. With what you have to do, I mean, with the technology, you have to turn your, you have to put your, put that thing on your Android. You have to make your Android to protect your eyes. It's not that it's an eye strain. You can do some on your tablet so it doesn't strain your eyes. Hold on, let me see if get my tablet. You can there's a setting that you do. Okay, so let me show y'all my tablet. Hold on, y'all. Let me show y'all what I'm doing. These are the magazines I'm reading, y'all. I'm reading these. This is what I'm reading. So I picked 3 at random. I go to the library now every month and I see what magazines they're giving away. So this month they had about 10 magazines for women. For women. Okay, people donated them. So I'm gonna read this magazine here. Oh, it has September in here, y'all. September stuff. I can't wait to read this. I don't want to ruin it yet. I'm gonna skip past that part. Okay. See, I started reading it already. Magazines are really good to read, y'all. Because the sections aren't that big. You know what I realized? The reason why some people don't buy books? Because the books seem intimidating. They seem intimidating, y'all. And They aren't set up in a way where they look like they're easy to read. These books have need to become more simplified, like as simple as possible, because people cannot handle all that extra stuff coming into their mind. Okay, they got some recipes in here too. They got fast meals in here. I miss the time when people would look up recipes. Now everybody got to watch a video. It's like, well, you have to watch a video. Just get the recipe. People say, I'm bored. I say, pick up a magazine. Yep. Okay. I also feel like sometimes, y'all, a lot of these magazines are becoming, it's not just magazines. A lot of things are becoming too much like you're in school. I miss the days where there was funny stuff in magazines. How many of y'all remember the magazines had funny things in there, funny stories, funny comics and stuff? Now the magazines have become like you're just, I feel like these magazines now are like YouTube on the page, on the app on the page. It's almost like whoever's doing these magazines are hanging out on the apps and putting it in the magazines, and it's like, I miss the mag. I need to look up the magazines from the 1950s. You know, or at least from the 80s. Woo! Look at these chicken sliders, y'all. I'm gonna make these. Look at these chicken sliders. I swear I'm gonna make me some chicken sliders for dinner. I thought this magazine was gonna have some entertainment in it, but it's turning into. Okay. Okay. This feels so. Why do I feel when I'm reading stuff now? Some things be feeling fake, even about these magazines. I feel like people are hard. It feels like theft. I can feel it. Like something feels off. Yeah. 2024. I read the comments. I read it. Please don't tell me what to do. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The divine beauty you. Thank you very much, Drifting. I'm confused by your comment. I'm not even gonna lie. They're more interesting than any magazine. I don't know. These magazines is. I don't like how they're turning the magazines into the apps. That's what it is, y'all. Okay, so I have some other stuff I want to talk to y'all about. I've been talking for 27 minutes. It feels like I've been talking longer. So, I realized something recently, Drifting. I realized something recently that y'all, like when we're eating, that it's better to like keep your carbs like low on every meal. I know y'all say, yeah, y'all, I'm telling them carbs got people looking old. The carbs are aging people's skin. Grains, y'all. Grains. Like, try to get your energy from something else other than these grains. I could feel it now. I feel a big difference from just lowering my grain intake per meal. Like even just the decision made me feel different. So I have mostly Asian food for lunch. I'm currently doing the more of a open face French sandwich in the morning, which is like my breakfast is like French, like the French would do it, open face. So it's like a little, piece of bread or muffin with the eggs on it, and I have it like that. Okay, no top part of the muffin, no top piece of bread, and she said because I like to read magazines. You're like, what's wrong with me reading magazines? You said I got a whole platter. Better have some broccoli in it. I gotta have my broccoli. I was just talking about open face. And look what page I turned to. Was I not just talking about the open face sandwiches? Open face meals. Look. And I turned right to the page. Open face, y'all. This is the cheesy bruschetta. I'm gonna post. Okay. Yeah. I have all these. I have tomatoes. I have mozzarella. I do have muffin bread. I do have different kinds of bread. So we'll see what bread I have. I think I have olive oil. I got balsamic vinegar. I do have some basil. I have almost everything on this list. The creator, that's a synchronicity. So the creator said, yeah, open face. So I'm going to make me a cheesy bruschetta. This is what I'm going to make, y'all. I'm making me this. I might start a breakfast channel. How many of y'all want me to start a breakfast channel? I love making breakfast. My breakfast looked so good this morning that my family was like this at my breakfast this morning. I said, "Were you staring at my breakfast like that? You want me to make you some?" He said, "I wish I can eat that." There's like, I can't eat that right now. And I said, "But you wish you could." They said, "Yes, I do." They wanted my breakfast so bad. I was like, well, let me know. Y'all. So we're going to circle this because I'm not even going to remember what page is on. Cheesy bruschetta. This cheesy bruschetta meal. I love garlic. Okay, it has mozzarella. So this is how the French makes their food, y'all. If somebody don't know, people don't know, French people, they eat cheese on bread in the morning. I think sometimes they have eggs, boiled eggs too, but they normally stack their bread with open face. With this Capricorn moon, you should be thinking about how you eating. This is what you should be thinking about. You should be planning to eat better, eat healthy. Otherwise, you're going to get fatter in the fall or winter. Sorry about that, y'all. My live video went out. Somebody said that's going to be good. Yes, I will watch. Okay, y'all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have because my family like to come in and out the kitchen, y'all. My family love to eat. So only way this is going to work is if I cook it on my Foreman grill. Okay? So what I'm going to do, y'all, is set up the grill. The grill. I have a grill that I could use. And maybe set it up, have it on the table, and then have y'all sit there and watch me do the grill. Or have the grill up here. I could have the grill right here. It's a flat, George Foreman grill, and I can just grill the food right here, make the food. I could make my breakfast in here, but I want to niche it down like breakfast food only. I realize now it's important to niche down as far as you can. Otherwise, the algorithm don't know how to place you. So I would like to do a breakfast food channel. I would, y'all. So maybe like today, we're gonna try and do Betty Crocker's pancakes, but we're gonna upgrade them. Okay. Today we're gonna do try somebody's eggs, but we're gonna see how we can upgrade these eggs. It's gonna be also like an experimental breakfast thing where it's like, okay, how can I take what somebody else did and make it better? I love making breakfast food, y'all. I just do. I love going out for breakfast. I just love me breakfast, y'all. I wake up every morning like, yay! I get to have breakfast. Like, if I don't wake up for anything else, happy. I'm always happy to wake up because I get to have breakfast. Y'all, that's my favorite time of day. I wake up like breakfast in the house. Serious. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do some breakfast, y'all. But we're gonna try some recipes. But we're gonna talk maybe in a live video we'll talk about like what was y'all suggested I add. You know, have any of y'all ever had apples and steak for breakfast? Ah, so good. Steak with some apples and some stuffing. Try it one day, y'all. Make some stuffing. Dice some apples and put it in the stuffing, but cook the stuffing and the apples in the same pan as your steak. It is so good. Yeah. My favorite time of day is breakfast. Love it. This times I woke up and it wasn't even breakfast time and I got really upset. I was like, Dad, they got another hour to wait for breakfast? Pissed. One of my daughter's friend, her mother owned a restaurant. And it's so sad what happened, y'all. This lady was telling me, yeah, I'm going to own a restaurant. I'm going to open my own restaurant. And she actually did it. And, of course, she didn't get a lot of support. She was in a black community and she was black. She didn't get a lot of support for her breakfast. For her restaurant. So she couldn't keep it open. Okay? Apple stuffing with steak is bomb. Y'all, that's what I used to woo. I like early morning cooking and late night cooking. I like to cook late or very early. So, I don't like middle of the day cooking. I like almost in the middle of the night, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. cooking, or I like very early in the morning cooking. But yeah, I like one of the meals I like to make. Now, when I was talking about steak, that's how I won over. Um, you know, that's how I used to woo. Somebody in my past. I used to make them steak. They got so used to get up and make me a steak. Make me some steak. So one day I opened the Betty Crocker cookbook and she said, put stuffing and apples in there. And I put stuffing and apples in there and it was like, this is so good. I was like, okay, eat your steak. Okay. So I'm more of but I prefer to make breakfast. I love a partner that will cook for me at night. Okay, if I'm hungry in the middle of the night, I need a partner to get up and cook. I will cook early in the morning. They can cook at night. Enchiladas. I like enchiladas, chicken enchiladas. Yeah. We need some vegan enchiladas. Vegan enchiladas, y'all. That sound bomb. Egg enchilada. Y'all. Egg enchilada. I could just see me eating lima beans in my enchilada. Enchilada with lima beans and eggs. That sounds actually good. Like when you first hear it, you're like, ooh, that sounds gross. But then when you think about the taste, you be like, actually, that sounds pretty good. Lima beans. This enchilada is stuffed with eggs, lima beans. Yeah. What else could go in there, y'all? Broccoli. Yeah. I don't see broccoli too much in enchiladas. Why don't people put broccoli in them? I mean, why everybody got to put leafy vegetables in enchiladas? Why can't we put broccoli? You know, like have the broccoli stacked at the top of the enchilada with the protein, you know, underneath. You know, with the cheese sprinkled on top of the broccoli. And that's how the enchilada is. That would be bomb. You know, I don't care what everybody say. That's not bomb. Like cheese on top, mozzarella cheese on top, because I love mozzarella on top of the broccoli. And then underneath is like three types of protein, but the dominant protein is plant-based. And, you know, eggs. So basically, eggs and lima beans, but then there's one other type of protein. Cod. Woo! I think that would taste good. Ooh, that tastes good. That sounds good. With cod, y'all. But I think the cod need to be seared, blackened cod. I can see blackened cod in an enchilada. Like, oh my gosh. So good. Can you imagine taking searing it, searing it, making sure it's brown, and then putting the blackened season on, and then blackening it. Put a little bit of garlic in there, a little squeeze of lemon, a little dash of vinegar in there. Y'all, little bit of Old Bay. Maybe put a little bit of bone broth in there and let it simmer after you done black it. Y'all, I could just see it like simmering in the bone broth and all that different stuff. You know, yeah, with some onions in there, and then, but I'm talking about with cod. I'm talking about how to make the cod. Okay, all fish tacos ain't created equal. All fish tacos ain't created equal. There's too many ways you can make fish. So I'm talking about searing that fish. And like instead of using the usual enchilada dressing, like maybe that could be the finishing dressing. But there's a dressing that was put in the fish when it was cooked in the pan. Y'all gotta taste my fish. My fish is bomb. My seared fish and my blackened fish with my dressings and stuff. Good. Y'all, we the sauce house. Y'all would love it here. You'd be like, oh my goodness, Miss B, y'all got all them different sauces. I'm about to go hell. That's how some of y'all women would be like, I'm about to get on this stove and burn. Y'all got everything in here. We do. We got different kinds of dressings, different kind of sauces. Y'all, different type of, we got all nice lemon and pepper seasoning, blackened seasoning, Old Bay. We got every kind of seasoning. Y'all, we go to the butcher shop sometime and get our seasoning where they got a part where it's like plant-based though, all plant-based. And we go there and we get our seasoning and stuff. And y'all, we got every little thing you can imagine. And our salads, y'all, if you want a stacked salad, you got to come here. We eat stacked salads every day. We're talking about loaded salads, okay? Where you be like, oh my goodness. Not everybody, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to lie. Not everybody can order. Not everybody can afford to eat an organic or a raw stacked salad every day. But we make sure we can. We make sure we do not skip on our raw salad, stacked salad. You should see the size of these bowls of our salads every day for dinner. They're like this. Everything there, lettuce, tomato, cheese, everything you can imagine is on a salad. We have these all these different type of dressings. I think ranch, French, balsamic, and all these other dressings, sweet honey, all these different kind of dressings, and you get to just pick which one you want. You know what you in the mood for. Our dinners make you feel like you went to a healthy restaurant to eat. Somebody said, "Where you at?" I eat cod every month, y'all. Y'all know cod is not cheap and cod is bomb. I don't eat low vibe fish in here. I eat cod. I don't eat no canned fish no more. If you eat fish in my house, we going to the fish market to go fishing. You know, we're gonna get us a grouper. We're gonna go fishing for a grouper. Here, hold on for a minute. Did you see this? Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. We're gonna get us a grouper. We go on fish shopping sprees. No lie. There's a friend of mine, every couple months, I drive them when we go on fish shopping spree. We go to Woolies and we go fishing. So some of y'all say, why your skin look that good? Because look how I'm eating. It looked as good if you was eating a stack raw salad like this every day. You're nice skin too. I tell people stop being cheap and make sure you have your salad. Never skip on your salad. You know, like Thor's mother said. What did Thor's mother say to him? Have a salad sometime. Somebody said I would love it. Where you at, my sister? Everybody in my family can cook in here. You ain't got to cook every day. Everyone's a good cook in my family. Just be like, who's cooking breakfast today? Me. Who's cooking dinner? Me. Who's on lunch? Me. We know all the food gonna taste good because everybody can cook. So it doesn't matter who cook it. I like fish tacos on croissant. Oh my goodness. Fish on croissants is so good. Try it one day, ladies. Put your cod on a croissant. Okay, make sure it's the croissant that got butter in it. And not those little ones. One of those big jumbo croissants that's buttery tasted. Put your fish on those. Bomb. Y'all. Bomb, bomb, bomb. I can make homemade brownies and blondies from scratch. Y'all know I could cook some good food if I used to have to feed beer drinkers and weed heads. I was the cook for the beer drinkers and the weed heads in the family. I'm known for the parties I used to throw. I used to throw big parties. If my family was in here, they'd be like, oh my God, their food is so good. My family, where my nephew at? Nephew, if you in here, you can tell him about our parties, our gatherings. But yeah, I used to make blondies and brownies for potheads. Everybody be smoking weed. I didn't. They'd be like, Vic, why don't you make us some blondies? I'd be like, okay. And I'm talking about from scratch. I'm not talking about instant blondies. I'm talking about I'm in the kitchen like this, baking, throwing my walnuts in there, my butter, my vanilla, my French vanilla, flour, all that from scratch. The potheads in my family was like, ooh. They go check in the back room, be like, you won't? Won't you come in and make us some brownies? Some of y'all potheads is like, where are you at? They get to eat blondies and brownies from scratch while they're high? For real. Somebody said you hit the like button coming in. I love to feed potheads. I do. They appreciate the food. They appreciate the food. And so do beer drinkers. They appreciate the food. It's a shame that sober people take home cooking for granted now. It's wild. They don't say thank you or nothing. People just eat food and go. But beer drinkers be like, this piece is good. The beer drinkers, they be like, oh, who made this burger on the grill? Man, this is good. And then when they cook, I love that they like to make sure their food is good. Like beer drinkers, when they cook, they be like, what you think about the burgers? They want to make sure that you enjoy the food. I like being around people like that who care if I enjoy the food. You know, I'm telling y'all, I'm all about that. I'm all about the food life. Right now, I'm like kind of through eating the food. I'm kind of learning it. I'm learning like Asian cooking and French. So I want to learn how to cook few more French dishes and some Asian cuisine. Now I was getting really good at making combination platters that Asian people make. You know, I used to have a wok. Okay, I used to have a wok. I miss my wok. You know, I like using my wok when I got company over, but the problem is too many people are addicted to working. You know, they don't visit. You know, I want to just grab my wok, go to my friend's house, and be at her stove and be like throwing in different stuff. I like the wok because you can dance with the wok, you can move around with the wok. You know, you don't have to just stand still like this, like American cooking. With the wok, you know, you can just toss stuff in. Like it feels like you're being creative. When you use a wok, you feel like an artist. I'm gonna get me a wok again. Like I am I'm gonna start looking for a wok. That's gonna be something I'm gonna put on my New Year's list and just start. You know, a lot of people don't cook in a wok because they're scared that they're not gonna cook their food well done. But all you gotta do is count like every 4 minutes, shake the wok. You know, every 3 to 4 minutes, shake the wok, and then within by 17 minutes, normally most fish is done. If you're worried about fish, you know, unless it's like the thickest fish in the world in your pan, 17 minutes when it's medium high, that fish is done. You know, just every 4 minutes, shake it up. Yep. You know, cooking is still supposed to feel like fun, y'all. And it's like no fun doing the same recipes all the time over and over and over again. I do want to get back into doing watercolor, but I'm really trying to get into simplicity, simple art. Who here wants to do some simple art with me? I think that this art, and I think we're doing too much. You know, I think that everything is starting to be too much. We need simple art back. We need to see paintings again with this, you know, just a rose in it. Now it's like everybody's like, I gotta do all this stuff, all these details. It's getting too much. You know, I'm simplifying my literature. That's what I've been doing, simplifying it. I'm writing something right now because y'all know mostly I'm a writer. Okay, 110% writer. And I'm working on a fiction piece. Okay, and I really thought, you know, just because it's good writing don't mean it's a good piece. It may be too much. So I realized I was doing too many scenes. I had too many scenes shoved in this fiction piece. So I said, I'm going to simplify my piece, my fiction piece. From now on, I'm literally going to have one view, and then one subject matter dialogue. and then find a way to end the piece with that. I'm finding that people are overwriting. Like Stephen King is an overwriter. He wants to write about everything in the room. Somebody need to tell Stephen King, King, we don't need to know all this in the room. We need to know what is actually significant to this plot. We only need to know that. Okay, where the reader feels like their time's not wasted. The characters are doing things that don't waste their time. All this other stuff in here that has nothing to do with building the character's personality or character traits. It's just all that's doing is wasting paper and the reader's time. So I went back and looked at my fiction piece and I said, you know what? As much as I like the other stuff I wrote, it gotta go. You know, it's good. Good can be good, but if it's not useful, it's not useful. So that's what I'm focusing on now. And even when I look at my literature that's in progress, the poems, I'm asking myself, why does this need to be in this piece? So that I don't, just put some stuff down all because, oh, it's a great line. Like, no. I think that's getting desperate. I really want to be done with this fiction piece and this article today, once and for all. I will not be going to sleep today until both of these pieces is done. At some point, you got to back yourself in a corner and be like, get it done or you're not coming out the corner. Just so you can have a little bit more peace with your progress. Hi, everybody. I've been talking to y'all for a minute. We hanging in there today. Huh? So for some of y'all, I have been reading this book here. This is the book I'm reading and studying. It's called Field Guide to Writing Flash Fiction. Tips from editors, teachers, and writers in the field. Okay. Excuse me. So I bookmarked this section here. This is what I'm doing today to my fiction piece. It says to turn the piece into a poem. Okay. So this is the story version of the person's fiction piece. And this is the poem version. I think that people tend to pay more attention to their lines when it's put in a poem format. Yeah. Remove the line breaks. It says, stop whatever story you're working on and convert the whole thing into a poem. This will be a much shorter piece in which you bid various extra words and character and subplots goodbye. There is no need to wave to them. Don't worry about whether your poem is any good. Just make your decision as honestly as you can. Once finished, you may, at your discretion, remove the line breaks and examine the resulting piece of prose. So what's the original one? She says, or maybe you're here in Sturbridge, Mass, off the pike, punching the register. Roy Rogers, a girl in a brown smock. America comes at you on buses, in caps and shorts. What the hell? You're killing each other anyway. This is this kind of loneliness. What are the words? You got chores, duties, an inanimate world that needs you. I'm confused though. Why did they show the original one? Oh, here it is. Is this the original? They should have showed the original. They should have showed the original first draft. That doesn't look like the original first draft. Because it's matching. Some days the clouds are so thick. Mm. They should have shared the original. They didn't. I don't like that because then it's like, okay, how do I know what you took out? In which you bid various extra words and character and subplots goodbye. Once finished, you may. All right. Story from the sun. That's very short. That's a very short story. They calling that a story? That's super short. Okay, y'all, I'm going to spend some time. I'm trying to narrow down where I'm not reading so many books. I'm just kind of focusing on um, just one book. Write a story double space. Now make each stanza a standalone. Each sentence a standalone. Title each sentence as if each. Okay, 50 sentences, 50 titles, so the 50 sentences in the end. Collect the titles, arrange them as if they were a story. A story made of 50 words. Sentences. Okay. Okay. And they don't give examples a lot, too. I know they're giving out prompts in here. So this is a vignette. They're saying start by vignette. Okay. That's a synchronicity for me. Hi, everybody. I felt like I wanted to pick up this book for a minute. Okay. I'm going to be looking over this, taking the story, breaking it down into a poem format, then looking to see what I have, and then after putting it back into the story format. That's what I'm going to do today, just to see what happens. Exactly, because you know what, everybody thinks that great writing now is fake. If you write something great now, people are like, "Oh, AI wrote it." They don't even believe you. They don't even believe you. They're suspicious. Everybody's AI suspicious. No, paranoid that they're putting their money into a robot. And these AI people, they're harvesting people's frequencies. These people using AI, they are just harvesting different people's brain. That's what AI do. This AI software is hijacking everybody's style, technique, way of talking, speaking, and writing, and then it's passing it on to these AI using junkies, and then they're cranking it out. They're cranking out robotic versions of us, all Siamese twins and everything. They're like we're all connected by the brain. These AI people, they're cranking stuff out with us, warped and distorted with other people's brains, and they're selling the stuff, and it has to stop. That's so fake. That is the phoniest. It's like, learn how to write. Like, why is people doing that? Like, I know you do know that people protested the AI company, right? The AI software company. There was a big protest not too long ago. They was demanding that it shut down. It's really offensive. AI was it has its benefits. It don't have no benefits. It's fake. It's thievery. It's plagiarism. All of that. It's demonic. It's not. It's 110% demonic. Period. Yep, that's what they're doing. That is exactly what they're doing. They're taking our literature, even poems. Yeah, that's the only benefit to it. AI Grammarly, AI grammar check. That's it. That is it. And outlining. That's it. Like taking what you wrote and creating an outline of it. Okay, I could. That's okay because you're using what you wrote. You're using what you wrote. But some people are just going in there researching and saying how to write a love story about two people who fell out over this, and then AI will just crank out a whole love story, and then all they do is edit certain parts so they don't get caught, so they can slip through Amazon and not be caught. And they might just change some of the character traits of the character, but they keep the whole storyline. They keep the whole conflict and everything. They just change some of the character traits and maybe their location. Y'all, it's demonic. It's straight up demonic. It's not right. You know, on my push card nominated poem, that poem sat on my desk for 3 months before I actually got to finishing it and felt bold enough to try to finish it. You know, that poem, my poem, the last time I had to see you, a highly accomplished poem of mine, and then somebody just gonna go up in AI and hack and hijack it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, we did all the work. We put all the time in, and all they got to do is go to AI and cheat. They don't even got to sacrifice no time. I don't. Oh, y'all, I can't stand it. Oh, that's why I never talk about it. Why y'all think I never talk about it? I can't stand it. Yep. Yep. Mm-mm. It's copying. Tired of it. I shared some of my work in the workshops on Eventbrite, and some of the students came back in the next workshop and they were all writing like me. No lie. They listened to my work. They saw how everybody was impressed. They recorded me, snuck and recorded me, and then showed up a week later in the next workshop and was writing like me. I'm like, don't they realize that anybody could tell that they copy me? Yo, I was literally in Piazza. Piazza is an online software that has courses on there, free courses. And so I was in the course How Writers Write Poetry, and it was on Piazza. And no lie, some of the students weren't even doing the homework. They were like just watching and listening to everybody else. Like, oh, I'm just watching how you wrote your stuff. I just came here to see how you wrote it and what the teacher think, and then I'm going to copy you. No lie, students were doing that. Don't you know the teachers put out a note and said, we didn't caught a couple people copying, trying to imitate others' award-winning lines, talking about, yeah, I'm writing this line down. This line is bomb. I'm going to use this in my work. And not giving her credit, the teacher was like, you're banned. You cannot say you're using another student's work without giving credit. Exactly. I ain't trying to be, please don't be offended by this, y'all, but they need to keep these mediocre and amateur people in their own group. They need to stop saying this workshop is for everybody. No, no, it shouldn't be for everybody. This workshop should not be for everybody. Start making people admit what level of growth they at. Like, keep it real. Be like, this workshop is for new writers only. Writers who have not got a lot of critique, who've never had a mentor, who've never taken any classes, who hasn't accomplished anything in writing. This workshop is for them. This way, people like me don't get in the workshop and don't be harvested. I really want some workshops, writing workshops that literally say for advanced writers only. Cause y'all, I ain't trying to be smart. I don't even want to be in there with the amateur writers. They just using me, using my work, and I'm tired of it. Yep. We sit there as long as it take to come up with a line. As a matter of fact, look, reason why a lot of people can't write is they too busy trying to compete and prove that they gifted. The moment you try to prove that you skilled in writing, you ain't gonna be able to write. You ain't, because you're not gonna appreciate things that you need to appreciate. You gotta go. I tell new writers, you gotta go out writing opposite. You can't go out writing the way other type in other genres. You can't do it that way. Okay, the the more you learn to celebrate what you consider mediocre, the better you get at writing. People say there is no ideas. Everything is an idea. Every single thing, and it's not even about ideas. Like poet Robert Haas said, poetry is not made of ideas, it's made of words. You have to like to play with words. If you don't like to play with words, you'll never be a great writer. If you think that just dumping it all out, stream of consciousness is enough, you'll never be a great writer. You have to be willing to play with words. Like treat your scenes like you're dressing up or trying on an outfit. A lot of new writers don't do that. They don't think about wordplay. And then they say, well, I can't, and then learn the rules. It's like, why are so many people sitting here writing and don't even know the early lessons in what they're doing? Like, don't even know the beginning. You know, they just want to keep on falling all over the place and stuff. They don't want to. They don't want to know. Every type of writing, every type of genre have core lessons that you need to know. And it's like, oh, I don't need no writing lessons. Yes, you do. You need the core lessons. That's why That's why you're stuck, and you staying stuck. You can't just base it upon dreams and experiences. That's what beginner writers do. No, not to offend you. Beginner writers, they don't know how to be. They don't know how to role play. They find it safe to use their dreams and just their experiences. That's safe. You have to be able to role play. If you rely on dreams and experiences, okay, when you ain't connected to your experiences and you already wrote about your dream, then what's left to write about? Then you should be able to write about a banana. You should be able to pick up something. That's how good you want to get, where you can be like, okay, I don't care, I'm not blocked. I can pick up this banana, because everything deserves to be written about. Everything is worthy to be written about. It's not about what you like to write about. It's about a writer always writes. A writer wants to write. That's it. I don't really care what I write about, to be honest. I just want to write. I could write about a crumb on the table. Doesn't matter. I'm sure there's a story behind it. Doesn't matter. If look, when I sit down, it's like I came to write, so I'm a write. You know, because if I just go by my experiences, then I think I'm going to be good because I experienced it. I don't need a definite emotional connection to something to write about it. See, that's what new writers think. Younger writers think there has to be an emotional connection. Otherwise, nope. Nope. Writing is writing. Just want to move my pen. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody. Bye.